We are here. Castle Ravenloft. Irina is somewhere within, but so is what we need to get the blade from Argynvost Holt. This is a trap, of course. Some grand showing off that the Count has planned, where he gets to strut his new toys around in front of his court before giving us all a painful end. Or end? Nothing ends here. Eternal torment is his way, marching forever on the castle. But perhaps we can use that. What will the Count do if his toys decide not to play with him? Lathander, we walk into the Valley of Death. See us to safety on the other side. This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
Thick, cold fog swirls in the courtyard before the main entrance. The rain starts to pick up now, becoming a heavy drizzle. Through the drizzle, you see torch flames fluttering on each side of the keep's open main doors. Warm light spills out of the entrance, flooding the courtyard. High above the entrance is a round window with shards of broken glass lodged in its iron frame. The carriage is standing still, waiting for you to exit. You can also see, far off to both the left and right, large gates that seem to directly lead into those outer walls. These gates are portcullis gates, and perhaps they lead off around the main building. But yes, you are currently facing this large structure, towering above you. You make a guess, especially from the maps that you read. There must be at least 3-4 floors before you. And this large central tower comes up from the middle of the castle. It is joined by a slightly squatter tower that's a bit not quite as tall as the main tower, but is joined very close nearby. What do you do?
I opened the door on the side of the carriage and I look to the sides and backwards to the way from which we came, and I hope that drawbridge is far too old and rusty to still be in function, and that we won't have to run out here just to let our friends in.
I too exit the carriage and I look around. I look for signs of life or of movement. Do I see anything, or is this castle as dead as it feels?
You currently see nothing. The rain is making you damp already, and again, in fact, if not for those torches lit directly in front of you, the rest of the castle now is slowly disappearing into darkness, with no lights anywhere.
Let us get out of this rain. Let us go inside. He must be expecting us.
Should be a welcoming hearth in there, I hope. And I start moving up towards the torches.
As you both exit the carriage, it comes to life once again and begins to move off to the left. You hear one of these portcullis gates opening just a little as the carriage moves in that direction and begins to vanish from your sight as it goes into the darkness of the night.
As I move up towards the door, I squint backwards at this and I tilt my head to see if there's any figures there when the portcullis gates goes open.
You see nothing, not even with your dark vision, other than the gate opening, and then as the carriage goes through, starting to close again.
He's all tied up to his fingertips.
Yes. He has full control of this castle. It is Worrying, but, well, I do not believe his eyes can be everywhere all at once. Hopefully we can make him focus on us, yes?
Yeah, I just think it might have been useful if we had perhaps brought a ballista to open some of these doors in case they... Oh, no, I trail off and shake my head.
Let us go, Roshek. Let us go inside.
You move forwards, now entering this entryway. Another set of double doors is in front of you, closed, but as soon as you approach, they slowly creak open. You start to hear music coming from inside the castle. Organ music. Someone is playing quite skillfully. A rather morose and sad piece, floating now to your ears. As these other doors open before you, you find yourself in a great entrance hall. Cobwebs stretch between the columns that support the vaulted ceilings of a great dusty hall dimly lit by sputtering torches in iron sconces. The torches cast odd shadows across the faces of 8 stone gargoyles squatting motionlessly on the rim of this domed ceiling. Cracked and faded ceiling frescoes are covered by decay. Double doors of bronze stand close to the east. To the north, a wide staircase climbs up into darkness. A lit hallway to the south contains another set of bronze doors, through which you hear sad and majestic tones.
Let us follow the music, shall we?
Yeah. Reminds me of the Abbey. Was that Esmeralda playing there?
Was it? Someone certainly was. I suppose it must have been her. Could not have been that being, could it? That amalgamation of all kinds of creatures. I'm glad we are no longer there, but I wonder if this will be any better.
Huh. Yeah. And I just keep moving.
Yes.
Indeed, as you were both thinking and talking, a voice suddenly pops up. Admiring the ceiling, are we?
I stop. I look around to see where the voice came from.
There is an elf standing very nearby. You know this elf. The one from the road. He's no longer wearing a travelling cloak now, though, but is instead dressed in very fine, studded leather armour, with a sword at his side. His hands are currently clasped behind him, and he stands in a servile position.
You again. I haven't seen you around for a while, nor your pets. Who are you?
He smirks a little and remarks, "My name is Rahadin. I am the Lord Chamberlain to Count Strahd von Zurich."
How long have you been in this service?
He smiles at this and shrugs. I quite find it hard to remember. 400 years? 500, perhaps? Who knows?
Are you one of his kind, then?
He raises an eyebrow and remarks to this, "Do I look like one of his kind? He's not an elf, if that's what you're asking. Not a dusk elf, at least."
No, I was asking if you... never mind. Have you come to escort us?
Indeed I have. You are only 10 minutes late, which is not so bad considering your kind, half-breed. Anyway, he makes a gesture towards the hallway leading off to the right, away from the grand staircase and the big double doors that are behind him. If you'll be so kind, my master awaits you.
I smirk and I turn to Roman and I say, "I'm glad not being always on time is the main reputation of my kind, and I start moving towards the place he indicated.
Yes, we look forward to meeting your master. We have many things to talk about. We have many things we want to learn about this place we find ourselves in. Perhaps we can come to some kind of an arrangement that will make us all get what we want.
Well, it will be a glorious ceremony, I'm sure. It would be nice to see our friend Irina again, or whatever you would like me to call her now. Would that be wrong for me to call her that?
He shrugs and very impassively remarks, "You may call her whatever you wish. It doesn't matter."
I was thinking that. Well, since you've been here for your 400 years, how often does this wedding ceremony thing take place?
He frowns a little at you, before remarking, "Wouldn't you like to know? I can tell you this, today is a very special day, more special than any have been for a very long time. We shall see what occurs, won't we?"
Indeed we shall. We shall hope that the bride and groom will become very, very happy. Yes, very happy indeed. Blessed.
He looks at you for a moment, and then he just laughs. My priest, not a very good liar, are you?"
I just continue smiling.
And he leads you on. You find yourself now in a hall lit by fluttering torchlight again. To the east of you now, you see an arched hallway stretching for 20 feet, ending at a spiral staircase that seems to go up and down. Next to this hallway is a suit of armor, oiled and glistening, standing at attention in a shallow alcove. To your west, large double doors hang slightly open, and a steady bright light escapes through that opening. Swells of organ music come from behind those doors, spilling their melody of power now and defeat into the hall.
Is that where we're going?
It appears so. Rahadin stops at these doors and bids you enter.
Yes.
And so you move through these grandiose doors and are greeted by light and, yes, even some warmth. 3 enormous crystal chandeliers brightly illuminate this magnificent chamber. Pillars of stone stand against dull white marble walls supporting the ceiling. In the center of the room is a heavy, long table covered with fine white satin cloth. The table is laden with many delectable foods. Roasted beef, basted in a savoury sauce, roots and herbs of every taste, and sweet fruits and vegetables. You notice places are set for both of you, with fine delicate china and silver. At each place is a crystal goblet filled with an amber liquid with a delicate tantalizing fragrance. At the centre of the far west wall, between floor to ceiling, stands a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a thunderous melody that speaks in its tone of greatness and despair. Seated at the organ, facing away from you, is a single caped figure, pounding the keys in raptured ecstasy. He, though, stops as you enter, and silence fills the chamber.
I look around to see if plates have been laid out for Rudolph and Esmeralda. Just curious to see if he is expecting them as well.
There are only settings for you two.
Good.
You hear the doors closing now behind you slowly, as Rahadin closes them and vanishes from view.
I move towards the seat, moving closer to it, expecting our host, hopefully to join us soon.
You do notice there is a fine, embroidered chair at the front of the table, although there is no food placed out here.
Would not be much point to that, would there?
What do you do?
I stand by the seat, waiting to see if our host will come. It would be rude to sit down first, I suspect.
I do the same, but I try to just, if I see something that's particularly hard to resist, I might try to just sneak a little piece of something.
You move forward and collect some food from the table, and you eat it. It's good, Roshek. Very good. You can't recall the last time you had such good food, especially in this place.
I try to chew very discreetly, waiting still to be addressed.
The figure turns slowly, the room silent now. And once again, you see the man from the road, finely dressed, wearing his cape and noble clothing. He looks to be in his 30s or 40s, with his hair slicked back, black. His features are pale, after all, as is his countenance. He moves forward and gestures for you both to sit, smiling as he does so.
I take a seat upon getting this signal.
I nod and I sit as well.
He moves to sit, collecting a goblet in front of him, filled with a red liquid. He slowly sips and places it back down before smiling again.
I look at the crystal glass with the tantalizingly smelling liquid. I bring it up to my nose and smell it again.
You can't quite tell the vintage, but it smells like a good wine. Good, strong red wine, yes.
Huh. Well, I have a little sip as well.
Perhaps for a moment you feel a hesitation, but you know what blood tastes like. This is not it.
Your Grace, I say, and I lift the glass and pretend to take a sip, but do not.
Greetings, and welcome to my humble home, here at Castle Ravenloft. It is a pleasure to finally be able to speak to you in a civilized environment, don't you agree?
Yes, I certainly do. I think our meetings so far have been, well, anything but civilized, and certainly we should be able to speak about this situation we find ourselves in like adults. Yes, Your Grace?
I could not agree any more, priest. I am glad to see such manners. Yes, I have been looking forward to our talk for a while. I have to say, I have been very proud of your progress. You have performed admirably.
I'm thinking about what he must be referring to. You brought us here, yes? You brought us here to amuse you. We understand that this is something that happens from time to time. How come you selected us?
He clicks his teeth a little and swirls the goblet about. There is no particular reason you two have been selected. You were merely brought here by my followers. It is what they do after all. They bring people to me. Many die in moments. Some last much longer. Many are disappointments. You have not been disappointing, though. I congratulate you on that. He turns his gaze to you as he says that, Roshek.
Thank you. Well, it's been an interesting visit so far. And as I am to take it from your servant that just led us in here, this is a rather special occasion that we're about to witness, isn't that right?
Indeed. Today I shall finally be wedding my true love. And together, well, we shall be hopefully having a very good rest of our lives, which will be for eternity after all. And I only thought it fitting that you as friends should be invited to this ceremony. It'd be good for her to see some familiar faces.
It is very considerate of you, Your Grace. We look forward to the ceremony, of course, and we do pray that you will find much happiness.
Oh, priest, that I shall. No, everything has gone almost perfectly to plan. I am very pleased. I admit, I had doubts about you both at times. You, priest, and your foolish beliefs in gods who are not even there, and you, Roshek, with your devil-may-care attitude. Who knows what you would do? Yet you have proven yourselves to me time and time again.
I almost feel a bit flattered at this, and I take another sip of wine.
Indeed. So many have tread a path before you, and always they have been lacking. I was especially proud of your actions in Valakai, in Krezek. Each time the weak and foolish people of this land begged you for assistance, begged you for kindness and pittance and help, you were not distracted. You especially, Roshek. You stayed focused on your goal. You were not led off the path that you needed to be going down. And you've come forth better, stronger for it, haven't you?
That, being that we met in Krashek, the one that took care of the abbots in the end, is he joining the ceremony as well?
No, Kazan is not interested in such things, I'm afraid. He's not a very amusing character. He has his uses, though, and he does as he is told, for now, at least.
Yes, and he has built such a splendid building, has he not? This castle is truly stunning, and I understand that he had some part in its design.
A long time ago, yes. Him and many others. I'm glad you enjoy the architecture. My mother especially liked it.
What was her name, your mother?
My mother? Ravenovia van Royen. Queen Ravenovia van Royen.
Royalty?
Yes. My line is ancient. Once it stretched out far. Unfortunately, my father, the late King Barov, seems to be the last in line of king.
And now only you remain of your line. Do I have that right?
That is correct.
Yes. It must be terribly lonely. Terribly lonely to sit here in this grand castle without any family around. I suppose that is what you intend to redeem today.
He stares at you for a moment and then smiles. Indeed, it is. So have you enjoyed your stay in my lands?
It has been an illuminating experience. It is a land where you are clearly in control of this land. It is clearly yours, and you have shaped it in the image that you want it. It is impressive.
It is a land of potential. It is a land where you do something having one thing in mind, and then you never know what it will turn into.
I suppose that is true. There have been times I have been proud of my land, but there have also been times I have not. Lately, of course, things have not been as I wished, but thanks to you, I have shown the land who its true master is.
Is that the way you prefer it then? That they play along, or do you like a bit of resistance?
Truthfully, I suppose you have a point, Roshek. Sometimes there is something to savor in a true battle, in true challenge. But other times, I am the master of this land, and it does pain me when those under my rule try and stand up from their place. Those in Valakai especially. though they were shown the error of their ways. Thank you very much, by the way, for assisting with that.
It was a side effect. I suppose we could be happy that it was a service to someone.
Yes, it was our pleasure. It was our pleasure. The citizens of Valakai seem much more happy now. Or at least more peaceful now.
He laughs a little at this. Happy and peaceful. No. They are cowed and they are obedient. That is what is required of them. Happiness is not something most of them even know. And why should they?
Do you still know happiness, Your Grace?
No. I have not known happiness for a very long time, priest. But that is beside the point. Soon I will have what is mine. And that is all that is really important.
Yes. I suppose you're right. I suppose we shall have to wait until the ceremony then. Perhaps this will bring you some happiness. Perhaps this will bring the land some happiness, yes? The ruler is happy, so is the land.
Yes, although there is more on that we shall discuss later. What is it you think is going to happen to you in my lands?
There will be a ceremony now, and I suppose you will decide whether or not we are worthy to become your servants. Otherwise you will simply kill us like you have all your other playthings. Do I have that right?
My mouth was about to say something, but it was Roman said so straightforward it just leaves hanging open for a bit.
Well, aren't you direct? I suppose in a way that is a possibility. Neither of you wish to leave these lands then? Return home beyond the mists?
The only way we could return beyond the mists is if you would let us leave. And I do not think that that will happen. It is better to make the most out of the situation that we find ourselves in. There is potential here, as my friend said, and yes, perhaps we can work together for this land.
What a refreshing take on things. You guess correctly. Only I will be letting you leave these lands. And yes, I reward those who serve me well, and you have both fulfilled your roles very nicely. Do you have any other questions? I am open to them. We still have some time before the ceremony, after all.
I suppose I would be interested to hear in which way we have served you so far, aside from Valakai. Is there anything else we have done to please you, Your Grace?
As I said, Kresik was most amusing. You drew that foolish diva straight out of his hold, and while he would have died anyway, it was fun to have him caught off guard. Indeed. You have also located a few others I am interested in gathering. I will find them soon. I did expect Van Richten to come with you. But then again, perhaps I didn't. He is a wily fox.
Yes, we understand he has his own agenda. I don't think he would agree with us that coming here would be the best idea.
Probably not. But do not worry. His death will be slow. Maybe you'll even be there to see it. I also applaud you on giving hope to those keepers of the feather. They were quite troublesome when they were all apart, but now that they are all gathered in one little vineyard, well, they will also soon be gone.
Well played, Your Grace, well played. It is not difficult to see why this land truly is yours. You think ahead many steps. You're a man of great intellect, I can see.
Why, thank you, Roman, thank you. And yes, and of course, finally, The main congratulations I have for you is that you safely safeguarded my beloved Irina for as long as was necessary. Many troubles could have befallen her, and you kept her safe and delivered her to me, as promised, even though I admit your flight from Valakai that night wasn't quite what I expected of you. It was very reckless. That's why I was perhaps a little blunt when I collected her from you.
That is understandable, Your Grace, that is understandable, and we are happy that she is safe. We too were worried, and we are happy that she is now in a place of safety, in a new home, if you will.
I suppose we initially weren't sure of your intentions, and as you can so clearly see for yourself, it is a most fine creature. She is deserving the most valuable companions.
She is very deserving of these things, yes. And I am very refreshed by how honest you two are being. Although, you do not have the blade yet, do you, Roshek? Disappointing. Disappointing, but I suppose you could always get it later, can't you?
What do you have any interactions with these knights of the Silver Dragon down at their mansion?
What interactions would you expect? I killed all of them. Now I laugh as they dwell in their little house, forever damned as I am. They believe keeping me here is punishment. I let them believe what they wish. They amuse me.
It is rather amusing, and I honestly think this. It is rather amusing that they think that they are holding you prisoner, just as you think as you're holding them prisoner. Though they did seem a lot more miserable than you do.
Yes, I, after all, am no prisoner. Well, not completely, anyway. That may all change very soon, though, and we shall talk more on that later. But are there any other questions for now? I confess this talk is going very well.
I'm drumming my fingers a bit at the table, and I look expectantly at the food. Is it time to eat?
Of course, help yourself.
And I eat and drink.
And the food is good, and tastes just as good as it looks. You notice he does not partake of any food himself. He merely sips on that goblet as he watches you with amusement.
Your Grace, the people of this land, many of them view you as their deity, as their god. The other gods, the Morning Lord, they are gone. They are no longer here. Yet, it is not true, is it? You are not a god. You are the ruler of this land. There are gods here, though, yes? They punish you, don't they? They hold you here. They torture you. Would I have that right?
No, you would not. I am more than a god, priest. I am the ancient. I am the land itself. The only one I deal with is death. Death, I admit, takes a price from us all, does it not? Even I have had to pay that price. But soon I shall have paid it in full, more so than you could ever know.
I understand. I meant nothing insulting with that question. I was simply curious. I have felt such a distance to my god here. It is good to understand, then, and how the relationships truly are, and that you are indeed the god of this land. I say and smile.
I have been eating for a while. First I tried to use the cutlery, but quickly gave it up and mostly just sitting there eating with my hands, listening in. I smack my lips and I say, that's interesting. I heard something mentioned about the people in Valakai now worshipping some sort of night lady. Is that someone you have a relation to?
It is merely another of their old false gods, long gone and dead, much like your god of light and goodness, priest. These gods once existed, yes, but we are far from their domains now.
Yes, I can see that in the lack of light in the sky, and I can feel it. I can feel the distance to him. But perhaps I can find a new god here. Perhaps there is a new deity to worship here in this glorious land.
I am slowly getting a little bit full of the buttery words from the priest, so I keep quiet but keep eating and shake my head at this, because to me it's just too sweet and ridiculous.
Indeed, and the Count smiles as he leans in a little closer in your direction, Roman. Perhaps you will, priest. Perhaps you will. After all, it is quite funny, isn't it? You are taking this very well, and here I thought a priest of the God of Light would be filled with sorrow and remorse at the suffering he has seen in these lands, even more so knowing that if he tried to come here to help people, well, you would have failed utterly up to this point, wouldn't you? Every action you've done has brought nothing but more misery and torment to the people.
You're correct. Everything that I have done has only brought more misery and more suffering to this land. And I suppose that is my mission here. That is what I am sent here to accomplish, and I will fulfill this role that I have been given. Gladly. I have new purpose in my life now, I say, and I think at the same time about the good that I have done, because I have done good. I did help that child. Yes, I helped that child. Yes, I'm just saying these words. I do not mean it. I do not mean it.
I impale a piece of meat on a knife, and I chew at it idly, now being rather full, and I look at Roman quite intently, now saying, maybe you're right. Maybe you're actually right. Maybe it's time for you to find a new god. If you think about what we've done, there's a lot more things that could be justified from another side of the field. Just a thought.
Indeed. It would be so much easier. It would be so much easier. This is something I must contemplate. But we should not be talking about such heavy topics. This is a joyous occasion. We look forward to the ceremony, yes? You must be looking forward to it as well, Your Grace.
I am indeed, but I disagree. I find this topic of conversation riveting. But I wonder what your companion thinks. After all, Roshek, I think at this table you are the one who actually will speak honestly to me, without the honeyed words of our fellow priest here. He talks the truth, but I do not believe you really believe this truth. Do not worry though, priest. I shall aid you. But what do you think, Roshek? Tell it to me straight.
What do I think about what, exactly?
Are you so happy that you have done the part you are meant to play? Are you happy to assist me in my further endeavors? Do you believe what the priest says the time has come to put aside your old beliefs and embrace new ways of thinking?
I have enjoyed some of the things I've done in this land, just as I've had enjoyed things I've done in my homeland and the other parts of that world that I've travelled. Nothing's felt really bad. trying to find my place. Maybe this is it, maybe it isn't. I'm not overly convinced yet, but that said, you haven't convinced me of something else either.
And what is that?
Well, the part of being a servant. I've not always loved being under authority, unless, of course, their views fall into the same as mine. I've been in several smaller groups. I would like to take command of one myself at some point. If that's the sort of position you would have to offer for me, well, who knows?
He smiles at this and simply remarks, "And what if I were to offer you something even greater? What would you say to that?"
Something greater, you say? And I put the knife down, turning to him, putting my elbows on the table.
"Yes. Ever think on it. Roman is right. We will discuss that sort of thing later. For now, the ceremony will begin soon. Unless there is anything else you wish to speak of. I feel I have gathered what I wanted to know. Although I knew most of it already."
It has been a pleasant conversation, Your Grace. Very illuminating indeed. Now, we look forward to the ceremony. We wish you the best of luck.
He smiles and then simply laughs. And as he does so, you feel a gust of wind enter the room, and all the torches are suddenly blown out. You blink a little, and in the darkened room, you notice he is gone.
And I wipe my mouth with the tablecloth and stand up, looking around.
Yes, is Rahadin somewhere around here, or are we truly alone in this hall now?
You hear the doors, the entrance doors opening again. And yes, Rahadin is there. There is still illumination outside the room. He simply quietly remarks, "The chapel is behind those double doors in the main hallway. I shall see you soon." And he walks away.
At this, I send a thought down to the ring on my little finger to see if I can sense Esmeralda's presence somewhere.
You can. It is distant. Which makes sense, of course. But it's not close. She feels far away and possibly getting a little further away as time passes on.
I let it go. And I look towards Roman.
Well, that's enough of that, isn't it? Let us go find this jewel now.
You should have had more of the beef. It was great.
It did look good, but, well, I wasn't particularly hungry. I was full enough of all those words I had to say to that son of a bitch.
Yeah, you are a honey-coated, devious bastard.
Oh. I am a priest after all, am I not? I smile and laugh a little bit and, come, let us go where this jewel is then. It is certainly not going to be in the chapel.
You're a funny priest, that's for sure. And, I look ahead. You see those spiraling staircases going downwards? Just felt curious. What do you remember of the map?
I think back to the map, think back to all that we have learned about the possible location of this jewel. Where could it be?
You rack your mind for a moment. Hard to tell. Is it on one of the upper floors above, secured in some luxurious room? Or is it down below, where you believe catacombs and cellars await you?
It is a slain foe's artifact, after all. There is some... It would make a certain amount of sense if it would be among the dead, and the catacombs, perhaps. I am torn. Roshik, what do you think? Up or down?
It's either that, yes, or a precious artifact. I mean, maybe it's an exhibition of sorts. Such an item would make a fine contribution. Unless you, of course, don't want to ever see it again. But I think he would enjoy seeing it and be reminded of the torment of those souls. I would say upwards.
Yes, a trophy. It is a trophy, indeed. Let us go up.
You leave back into the hallway, again seeing that little spiral staircase in front of you. Looking to your right, you will see once again the great hallway, where again you notice Rahadin. He nods to you both as he begins to go towards those big double doors in the main hallway. They creak open slowly as he opens them, and you hear a chapel bell beginning to ring. He smiles at you and vanishes from view. What do you do?
This is our moment. Let us go.
I nod and I follow Roman.
Are you going towards the grand massive staircase, or the small spiral staircase? The small spiral staircase is right in front of you. The grand staircase will be back in that hallway and right in front of those double doors that have opened.
Yes, then the small spiral staircase it is. Hopefully that will lead to some less watched over areas of the castle. Perhaps it will lead us into somewhere we don't want to go, but, well, we have to make a decision quickly, and this is the one that I choose to go for.
It should lead to that adjoining little tower.
Very well, you begin to leave and go up to these spiral staircases. The bell continues to ring. You guess the ceremony has begun.
It feels strange not to be there at the ceremony, but yeah, I'm not sure what else we should do.
No. This is the time we need to achieve what we came to do. We must go. I just hope that Irina will be safe. But I don't know if there's any way that we could save her anyways. I think she's done for, unfortunately. I think she was already when we met her. She was bitten after all.
You don't think that if we stay for the ceremony, he would sort of let us stay the night and have more time to explore?
I think that he will do with her as he pleases. And he does seem to genuinely care about her, after all, yes? He spent a lot of energy and effort to get to her. I don't think that he will harm her simply because we displease him.
Irina, I mean, Esmeralda is still far away.
Yes. Well, let us make haste. Let us find the jewel.
I say nothing more and hurry after him.
So, you are now in this little staircase. It goes up and down. Which way do you go?
Staircase. Well, upwards then.
You begin to ascend the staircase. And it goes up for about 2 or 3 more minutes before finally coming to another floor. It then continues to go up from this floor. Poking your head out, you'll find yourself facing a little old wooden door that leads into, you assume, chambers beyond. What do you do?
That is what is in front of us, yes. This door, then. There is no way to continue upwards.
No, you can continue to go upwards if you wish. The spiral staircase continues.
What do you say?
Have a look.
Yes, let's. Open the door.
Well, you're first. I'm following you this time.
Yes, I move first. I have my shield prepared. Just in case.
You open the door and find yourself in quite a small little room. Dusty scrolls and tomes line the walls of this room. More scrolls and books lie scattered on the floor. around 4 heavy wooden chests fitted with sturdy iron locks. The only unobstructed floor space is directly in front of the doors on the east and west walls. So you've come in from the east, and there is now another little door heading off to the west. In the centre of this clutter stands a great black desk, where a figure crouches atop a tall stool, scratching on a seamlessly endingless scroll of paper with a dry quill pen. Nearby is a rope attached to the ceiling. You notice that this man, this figure, has a heavy chain directly on his leg, attached to the desk.
Hello there. Sorry to disturb you, sir, I say.
The man is old and haggard. He looks drained. He looks up with alarm and reaches towards the rope. He does not pull it yet. What is the meaning of this? Are you intruders? What are you doing in here? This is a private room.
I apologize. We are guests of the Count, and, well, we are looking for something. We thought perhaps you would know where it is. It is a jewel, you see. You would know it if you had seen it, yes? It has a powerful light in it. Would you happen to know where it is?
And he wrinkles his nose. He looks at you. What is it you want? What are you doing here? You're here for the wedding? It's begun, has it not? The price of all that food he brought in. He thinks his coffers are infinite. It's not like there's a proper income in this land after all.
Some sort of mad bookkeeper, I say before stopping myself.
I notice, sir, that you're chained to this desk. Yes, you're kept here. Would that be a correct observation?
Of course it would be. You have eyes, don't you? Of course. I tried to run so often when I was a younger man. I do not now, of course, but I am not allowed to leave the room. No, it distracts me from my work. I have so much work to do. The ledgers must be balanced. The checks must be brought in. Not that many people need paying these days. It doesn't even pay me.
No, but the budgets must be balanced, and there must be profit at the end of the year. Otherwise, how can this be a sustainable venture? Am I correct?
Yes, of course, of course. A few adventurers don't think it, but he does not rule the land with impunity. He allows trade to go, especially in his times of slumber. Tributes are made to him, the Stani especially, of course. It all needs to be noted down, and then, of course, the treasures in the vaults and other things. I might know of some treasures you speak of, although I'm not entirely sure why I should be telling you where secret treasures are. What exactly are you seeking?
Yes, there's this jewel, yes, that the Count, that he procured from the Order of the Silver Dragon. Yes, it's a luminous jewel filled with light. Surely you have seen this, yes? It is a very valuable treasure.
Not at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. A valuable glowing jewel from where Argenvost hold. He starts looking over some old papers. No, I would have been told about something like that. No. The only records I recall of Argenvost hold was bones at some point. Something about bones. For that, talk to Cyrus.
Ah, well, those bones, where would those be kept in that case? Is that down in the catacombs, perhaps?
He shrugs. How should I know? I don't keep bones. Again, talk to Cyrus. He's the one who likes to put up, keeps telling me about all the lovely little bone sculptures he builds everywhere. But perhaps he has some in his rooms downstairs. I don't know. I'm a very busy man, can't you see? And again, he just starts scribbling away.
Where do we find this Cyrus, then?
Probably at the ceremony now, or downstairs in the kitchens. Keep following down those stairs.
I see. Thank you so much, and I do admire your work here, and yes, it is important to keep the economy going, and you're a big part of that, I can see. So know that your work is valued, even if the Count perhaps does not always let you know of this so clearly, or at all.
The man seems to start ignoring you now, noticing that you aren't directly harming him in any way. and just muttering to himself as he scribbles. You notice some of the things he's scribbling don't seem to make any sense.
I start heading down the stairs.
Very well. Heading down the stairs, you will, in 5 minutes, reach back where you were before.
And I say to the priest as I'm hurrying down the stairs, this is useless. I don't know how much time we have now, but he's going to be very upset we didn't go to that ceremony. But the spirit said that he wanted his remains to be returned, and after all, maybe those remains would be in the catacombs.
Yes, indeed. It is a trace. Let us follow it.
We go down as far as we can on this staircase.
Well, you might not do that, because again, the stairs will go down, and another hallway will lead off below that level, but they still go further down than that. So...
Alright, so let's open that door and see what's in there. Now I'm the first.
The door opens to a small little hallway. This dusty 10-foot wide, 30-foot long corridor has a flat ceiling 10 feet overhead. The staircase is now to your south. The north end of this hall ends at a wooden door.
Is there anything in here?
You don't see anything from where you're standing.
I squint and I remark, this is a bit strange. It's all empty. I try also to sort of sniff the air to see if I feel the smell of death and catacombs and, musty old place.
No. You detect the smell of wine and maybe the smell of food from somewhere.
I roll 20 on a perception.
You step out into the hallway, and you look, and you notice it does seem a bit peculiar to have just a small empty hallway. You notice directly to your right, there's a bit of an alcove as well that sort of opens out. It's very square in shape. Also, as you take a very cautious step forwards, you notice that there do seem to be a few lines in the floor. Right in the middle of this hallway, as it were.
I hold up a hand. Stop. There's something there. And I point along the lines in the wall and the floor. It might be some sort of trap.
Yes, that seems likely. That seems likely indeed. What to do?
Is there a way to go around them?
There is not. You either walk straight forwards or you do not.
Right. Could I look around or take something from my pockets that I could throw onto the lines if we walk back outside the door and I throw it in there?
You could step back a bit and throw something in front of you, yes.
I pick up a small whetstone from my side pocket and I weigh it in my hand and I look to Roman. Let's step back. I don't see if we can cross this.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we'll set off an alarm or if it's just something deadly. Then I move to sort of close the door as much as I can and then throw it and then close it.
You step back towards the door and throw your whetstone forward before slamming the door shut. And nothing happens.
I wait for a second and look to Roman.
Well, I cast Find Traps, just to make sure.
Very well. And the spell indeed illuminates the room before you, and indeed you see the lines around this area. There is some mechanism in place. There is indeed a trap of some kind before you. Currently, though, nothing is happening. That whetstone is on the floor.
I carefully open the door again.
The spell merely reveals the trap is present. You don't learn the location of the trap, but you do learn the general nature of the danger posed by the trap that you sense. So what is the general nature of this danger? Is it perhaps magical in origin?
No, you feel mechanical. There is definitely something in this hallway, and there are mechanisms in place that would activate it somehow.
Well, maybe that whetstone wasn't heavy enough to set it off.
I think you're right. Shall we try to move through here, or try our luck elsewhere?
What do you feel? I'm not too eager to get impaled by something that I can't move around.
Me neither. Me neither. Perhaps there's another way. Perhaps we can try somewhere else.
Roman, as you're about to turn away, you do, at the end of the corridor, see something. A wisp of light. Something is moving briefly on the other side of the door, and then it vanishes. You almost are not quite sure how you saw this, by the way. It's not like you saw through the door, you just sort of knew there was something, a light behind that door, and then gone.
Well then.
What?
Yes, there's something on the other side there, some light of some sorts.
Damn it, of course. Of course he would keeping it safe by traps. That just means that there's something valuable there that would make all the sense. And I start pacing back and forth near the outline of the trap, and
I can prepare you, and I can heal you if you are damaged by this. I can even... yes, I can bring you back to health. I think that is our only option, I'm sorry to say. Are you up for the challenge?
Well, you have done so before. I hate to be... well, we need both of us to be alive to get out of here anyway. I trust you on this.
Yes, and I start casting Bless upon Roshek. I bless him. I sprinkle a little bit of this holy water on him, and I bless him in the name of Lathander. And this will give you a D4 extra to attack rolls or saving throws. And I suppose saving throws is what this may become necessary for.
Very well. The spell is cast. What do you do?
I motion for you, Roman, to keep back, and I try to avoid the lines as good as I can, very warily moving forwards, having my shield to my side, trying to be ready for anything.
Well, you move forwards and step over the lines, and you tense for a moment, and nothing happens. You have now successfully stepped over the lines. Although there is one more set of lines, another few 2 or 3 feet in front of you.
That's odd. But I'm keeping my guard, and I try to keep moving as carefully as I can.
And you do so, and you step over the next few lines, and nothing happens. You are now a few meters from the door.
I kneel down and I pick up my whetstone and put it on my pocket again. I shrug back to Roman and I start moving up to the door to open it.
I wait to see that the door is successfully opened, and then I intend to follow.
The door swings open, leading into another chamber. Roman, Roshek, is safe. Nothing seems to have happened.
Yes. Perhaps we simply avoided it. Good. I try to follow in Roshek's footsteps.
Following carefully in his footsteps, you two step over these lines, and again, nothing seems to occur. You arrive in the next chamber.
It would seem as if it's there to deter something else, perhaps.
Or perhaps someone who is not wary of these lines, like you. You were cognizant of them being there, yes? If one had not been, perhaps one would have been caught in this trap. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. Let us continue now.
Now move up into the chamber.
Indeed. This hall stands in deadly silence. Heavy beams support a sagging 10-foot-high ceiling. Fog clings to the floor, obscuring everything that lies less than 3 feet above it. A giant shadow lurches across the ceiling as a dark figure shuffles purposely down the corridor towards you. It should be noted that now, this lantern has a light it's holding. That is the only light that you can see with. Your dark vision has held up well, Roshek, but there are now no lights or torches down here. What do? You're in this chamber, something is coming towards you with a lantern.
It seems to have spotted us, yes?
Yes, it does.
Then let us greet it, I say to Roshek. Let us greet it. Perhaps it is reasonable.
Ho there, I say.
Hey? Who goes there? Who goes there? Who goes there? Who are you? Who are you? And this individual comes forward, the lantern lighting his features. He is misshapen and hunchbacked. He has ears that look like the ears of a bear, and a large mouth with teeth misshapen sticking out of it, one of them looking a bit like a cat's, the other looking flatter, maybe like a cow's teeth. He also, you notice, has webbed duck feet.
Greetings. My name is Roman. I'm a Dawnbringer of Lathander, and this is my friend Roshek. We are looking for something, and before I ask about that, would you perhaps be familiar with Otto?
Yeah, Otto? Otto crazy. Otto fool. No, I'm familiar with Otto. I am Cyrus Bellevue, much better than any other Bellevue, only I chosen to serve here, yes? Cause I smarter than them, I better than them. Otto, he's an idiot.
Indeed, you have made the correct decision. Unfortunately, some misfortunes seem to have befallen Otto. Very sad that.
Good. I hope he dead. I hope he die in like, can you imagine if he was like saying one of his stupid things and then an axe falls in his head? Wouldn't that be funny? Yes.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, maybe that will happen. Maybe it has. What do you do here then?
Everything. I can make food ready, clean the rooms. The ceremony. He then gestures towards where you've just come. Quickly, you are not supposed to miss ceremony. You must be guests. Quick, this way.
Yes. But before then, we must find the jewel. Do you know of the jewel of light? Yes, the one from Argynvost, from those boring old knights. Yes, the one I think maybe it was put together with some bones that you took care of. Could that be correct?
Jewel. I don't know, jewel, light. He points at the lantern. Light here. Bones. Oh, many bones. Yes. I have good bones.
Do you have the bones of those silver dragon people, Argynvost, perhaps?
Yes, good. The dragon bones are good. Yes, I have them on display. You want to see?
Oh, I would love to see it. Can you show us? I have heard that your craftsmanship is, well, it is something to behold.
He frowns a little and remarks, I would show you bones. Bones, but your master will be very angry you're not at ceremony. He blamed me, he beat me.
That is, I suppose, possible, but we really would like to see your craftsmanship. We would really love to see your art. I try to persuade him.
Roll a persuasion check.
9.
He looks to a door, and there's sort of a double set of doors on the very left as he now shines upon his lantern. You also notice there's a few doors behind him, possibly leading to 2 other rooms, and as he sort of looks around looking confused, you notice him shine a door towards the end of the corridor you're in, on your right side, facing east, where you think you can just about see the outline of a big staircase leading upwards, other than the spiral staircase you came in. There were bones in there, but no. And he starts walking to the door. No, you follow me. Follow good side. He lead you where he get you to ceremony. Yes.
Oh yes, but I must see the bones. I start walking towards them.
Do you start walking towards where he's gone, or those double doors?
Towards where he indicated the bones are.
Very well. He's disagreeing with you, but isn't turned to see what you're doing. What do you do?
I stand between the two, and I look at the one going off and the other standing and waiting, and I shrug, and then I walk after Roman.
Cyrus turns and frowns a little as he notices you walking off and goes, No, No, you go wrong way. It's the wrong way. You open the doors. Before you, it's hard to see, again, because the only light coming around now is that lantern that he has shone in your direction, and other than that, you have not lit any other light sources.
I quickly light up a light cantrip to light up this room.
Ah, and the room is indeed illuminated. Dark stains cover the floor of this area. Large oak tables, scarred and beaten, lie scattered like toys around the room, their wood crushed and splintered. Replacing them are furnishings made entirely of human bones. The walls and the 20-foot-high vaulted ceiling are a sickly yellow colour, not because of faded or time-worn plaster, but because they are adorned with bones and skulls, arranged in a morbidly decorative fashion, giving the room a cathedral-like quality. 4 enormous mounds of bones occupy the corners of this ossuary, and garlands of skulls extend from these mounds to a chandelier of bones that hangs from the ceiling above a long table, constructed of bones, in the centre of the room. 10 chairs, made of bones festooned with decorative skulls, surround the table, resting atop which is an ornate bowl-shaped vessel, made of yet more bones. The doors to the north, and the door you've come through, are sheathed in bone, but the steel-banded double doors in the centre of the east wall are not. Above these eastern doors is mounted the skull of a dragon, and in that skull, reflected in the light, you see a jewel directly in the middle of its forehead.
I see.
What do you do?
That is exactly what we're looking for right there. Oh yes, amazing craftsmanship, truly remarkable, I say, and I move towards this skull that I see in front of me with exactly what it is that we're looking for. It must be this. It must be it.
Is Cyrus still with us? The little thing?
He is storming over to you now, being like, No, wrong way. Not the correct way.
But it's so beautiful, I say, and I start sort of taking him aside, like trying to get him to show me these beautiful crafts that he's done, trying to perhaps give Roshek some time to perhaps procure this skull.
I look around this chamber of bone, and I start moving, and I, in order to reach up, bring a chair with me, the closest one to it, to be able to get up there.
No fiddling with Cyrus's things. You're very disrespectful people. Yes, they are good. I do good models. I am...
They're so beautiful, especially this one. Hey, can you tell me about this piece? What inspired you to create this masterful piece of art? It's truly... It must be worth so much money.
He's not worth any money. His bone is just nice. The master tell get rid of bone. He not care how I get rid of bone. But see, honestly, you must. And then as he's sort of arguing with you, you suddenly hear the sound of bells again. Obviously now it's rather muted because you are down a level, you feel. But they are quite loud bells. Something's wrong though. They are not ringing like a bell would ring as you heard before. This sounds more like if something was ringing very violently on the bell, or some wind perhaps was. It's the sound of the bell clanging back and forth, dong, 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 dong. And you suddenly, after a moment's pause, feel like a rumble seem to come through the whole castle. You can feel it even down here. On the wind you can hear someone roaring. No! It is very loud, and this rumble happens, and Cyrus just looks worried. And then there is silence.
And I step up on the chair and I reach for the gem.
And, fiddling around, you manage to remove the gem from the skull. Just as once again, a large, louder rumble of anger and rage echoes through the castle.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the campaign Curse of Strahd for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Curse of Strahd was designed by Christopher Perkins and based on the adventure Ravenloft, written by Tracy and Laura Hickman in 1983. Dungeons & Dragons is published by Wizards of the Coast. The music is created by Metatron Omega, Flowers for Body Snatchers and Word Clock, and is used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Visit cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more tasty dark ambient. A new episode of Red Moon Roleplaying is released every Friday. Please like our Facebook page and give us feedback, comments and input there. You can also visit us at redmoonroleplaying.com. Finally, a huge thank you to our growing base of supporters. You are truly amazing and inspire us so much to keep going with the show. If you haven't yet found us on Patreon, please have a look at the links in the description and see if you want to show your appreciation and encourage our work with the show there. While the show will always be free of charge to our listeners, Patreon supporters have access to extra material such as our bonus Q&A podcast Ask for the Moon, where we discuss all topics and questions our Patreons have for us. You can even get access to the full-length, raw and unedited versions of our gaming sessions way before they are released as finished episodes. Thank you for listening. Looking forward to meeting again next week.